Level 1. The subject. You are 7 years old. You don't know what they injected. You know it burns. You know the men with clipboards write things down when you cry and write different things when you don't. You learn quickly which reaction they prefer. You stop crying on day 3. They call it progress. They write that down too. Your mother signed a form, a long form, full of words she didn't fully read. They gave her money, a lot of money. She needed it. You understand this now in the way that children understand things they were never meant to understand, completely and forever. The compound changes you, slowly at first, then all at once. You lift something you shouldn't be able to lift. The men with clipboards look at each other. One of them smiles. You have just become valuable. You don't know yet what that costs. The word they wrote was asset, not subject anymore, not child. Asset. Remember that word. It's going to follow you through every level of this story. Level 2. The weapon. You are 12. You can bend steel with your hands. You can fly at speeds that break the sound barrier. You can look through walls. You can hear conversations happening 3 buildings away. None of this belongs to you. You understand this intuitively. Every ability they gave you was designed for a purpose. They don't tell you the purpose yet, but you can see it in the way they test you. They don't test what you can do. They test what you'll do when you're told to. There's a difference, a crucial one. One day they put a man in the room with you, a man who did something wrong. They don't tell you what. They tell you to stop him. You stop him. Too easily, too completely. The men with clipboards look at each other again. One of them says, "Perfect." You feel something when he says it, something warm and dangerous, something that will become the most exploitable part of you. You want to hear it again. But the next level is where everything changes, because they stop training you and they start selling you. Level 3, the icon. You are 17. You are the most recognizable face on the planet. You have a name now, not your name, their name. A name that tested well in focus groups. A name that sells merchandise, movie rights, government contracts. Your face is on cereal boxes, on billboards, on the kind of posters that teenagers put on their walls. They love you. Billions of them. They have decided you represent something. Safety, strength, the belief that someone powerful is on their side. You didn't choose to represent those things. You were assigned to represent them. There's a meeting every quarter where executives decide what you stand for next. You're not in the meeting. You learn your lines. You say them. The crowds respond. You learn that the crowds don't love you. They love the idea of you. What you actually are has nothing to do with what they're cheering for. This should bother you more than it does. Instead, you find that you prefer it this way. The real you is something the focus groups would not respond well to. You keep the real you in a room inside yourself. You lock the door. You throw away the key. You smile for the camera. You just told your first public lie. It won't be the last. And you discovered something terrifying. It felt like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Level 4, the asset. That word again. You are 23. You have saved 47,000 lives. They have the statistics. You have also generated $11 billion in revenue. They have those statistics too. Both numbers matter to them equally. You're not sure which one matters more. They send you to places. You go. You stop things. You break things. You are told afterward what the things were. Sometimes the explanation makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. You've learned not to ask too many questions. Not because you're afraid of the answers, because you've noticed what happens to people who ask too many questions. They stop appearing in meetings. Their calls stop getting returned. Then one day someone mentions them in the past tense and no one explains why. You have power that could level a city. You have the leverage to demand answers. You choose not to use it. Not yet. You're still playing the game. Still smiling for the cameras. Still reading the lines from the script they update every season. But something is accumulating. Quietly. In the room inside yourself where you keep the real you. That room is getting crowded. And then comes the moment that changes everything. The moment no one planned for. Not even them. Level 5. The mirror. You are 28. Someone who was once small and terrified because of you is now standing in front of cameras saying you changed their life. They've built their entire identity around the idea of you, and you feel nothing. This is the moment you've been avoiding for years. The mirror moment. The one where you have to ask yourself the question that has no good answer. If the people who love you knew what you actually were, not the icon, not the asset, not the product, but the thing in the locked room, would they still be standing in front of cameras talking about you? You know the answer. You've always known the answer. The question is, does it matter? And here is where you make the choice that defines everything that comes after. Not the choice they trained you to make. Your choice. The first real one. You decide it doesn't matter. Not because you're evil, because you're exhausted from pretending to be something you're not. And the only honest version of yourself is the one they would all run from. So you stop pretending, quietly at first, then less quietly. They built something they can't control. And the worst part? They knew this was possible. It was in the risk assessment report, page 47, paragraph 3. They accepted the risk because the profit was worth it, until it wasn't. Level 6, the uncontrollable. You are 32. No one tells you what to do anymore. Not because they don't want to, because they've calculated the cost of trying and decided it's too high. This is a kind of freedom, the only kind you've ever had, and it tastes exactly like you imagined it would when you were a 7-year-old in a white room watching men write things on clipboards. But freedom without purpose is just a larger cage. You have everything: power, fame, fear, which you've learned is more reliable than love. You have a city that cheers when you appear and goes quiet in a specific way when you stay too long. What you don't have is a single person who knows you, actually knows you, not the asset, not the icon, not the weapon. You, the thing in the locked room. You realize one day, and this is the realization that will stay with you forever, that you've been alone since you were 7 years old, that every relationship since then was a transaction, that the warmth you felt when someone said perfect was never really about connection. It was about control. Theirs, then yours. You've won every version of this game. You've never played the one that mattered. And now, the last level, the one I promised you at the beginning, the thing no one in the contract expected. Level 7, the truth. Here is what they never put in the contract. You can't be stopped. You can't be controlled. You can't be bought anymore. You have everything. You can't be threatened. Nothing threatens you, but you also can't be known, and you can't know anyone else, because knowing requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires the possibility of being hurt, and nothing hurts you, not physically. They built the perfect weapon: invulnerable, unstoppable, unlimited. They forgot that invulnerable means unable to feel the things that make you human, and unstoppable means no one ever pushes back, and unlimited means no boundary ever tells you where you end and the rest of the world begins. Power without limitation is not freedom. It's the most sophisticated prison ever designed. You hover above the city. Billions of people below you who would run if they knew what was up here looking down at them. They think you protect them. You do, in the way that a person protects something that belongs to them.